perking up, this weather is getting warm. Looks like the first item on the agenda is to,
Solves that phone, I think. Russ being important man.
okay, first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from February the 18th regular meeting. Need a motion and a second.
I mean March,
Pardon me?
March 8th.
You'll get one of these.
March.
I make a motion, we approve that.
Okay, we have a
Whichever
motion.
month it is.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call is to approve treasurer's report. Here he comes.
You have, didn't you, Judge?
Yours approved treasurer's report.
No, I think you're wrong.
His looks different there.
Yeah. Ours don't have that now.
That's the last one, so.
Okay. Now, here's our proclamation. Do we have anybody here with that? Who's going to speak? Brenda?
Yeah, she's pulling in. She should be coming up steps anytime.
Okay.
You know, she's always fashionably late.
There she is.
Sorry.
Is either one of them her?
I've got the proclamation.
Yeah, just bring that.
Yes. Yeah, I've got
Yeah, go ahead and bring
it.
that.
Okay.
Courtroom here, that just everybody in here, the community partners is what helps us to better our families and be able to have the engagement that we need with our families and the support that we have. So without many faces in here, there's just no way we'd be able to do it. So thanks to each and every one of you guys for the love and support that you give to us Friskies throughout the whole district.
Thank you for all that help. Anybody here?
Hey, Phil, we're gonna need a motion on the child abuse thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion.
Back
I'll
up.
second.
Got a motion and a second.
Who second?
Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made. Second. David, any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Okay, the next item is to approve the payment for Blaine CDBG. You know how far, it doesn't look like they're that far along.
I was just talking to Janie, they're on the schedule, they're on the schedule.
On the schedule.
Yeah.
They must put up one piece of tin and then one payment.
They do have them all though. They do have all
That's
those.
barely got enough. I pass it every day. No windows, no doors, no. When is it,
That's airflow.
when's it 85%?
Should be next month. Yeah, the next month.
Okay, need a motion and a second to approve the payment.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Motion made by Dave, and second by Mouse. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Item is to approve the bills.
Here's a copy of your bills in the folder, it's just our normal monthly bill, nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay, need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Mouse, second by Rick. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll the treasurer's report.
look almost identical to last year's, but we have to change out a few numbers from where we buy the trucks every year and sell them. Have to change those old trucks into the new ones that we bought. So we're gonna have a special meeting Tuesday, this coming Tuesday at 10 o'clock, so that we can get that first budget reading done, so we can get ahead of schedule and have a budget done before the July 1st deadline.
Okay, thank you. Next item is to appoint a member to the Lawrence County Library Board. Will be Connie Fairchild. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Rick,
I'll second.
second by David. Any more, excuse me, any more discussion? Hearing none, soccer, Phil bids. Only got one.
Yeah. They didn't want us to open it, I'll tell you that.
Child proof.
Yeah, well, you may have dismissed it. They were good.
It's called seal bid.
Yeah, they went all out on the ceiling part. I'm determined not to let it walk me down. And again, I could be wrong. This is from Quicksand Farms LLC. Lawrence County Park Soccer Field renovation. Total cost, you want me to break it down? Okay, the total cost is $81,000. It's broke down into 3 sections.
Total, okay, it's on the bid we have.
We got 85,000 in grants.
Okay, need a motion? Need a motion and a second. Motion made by Rick,
I'll second.
second by Dave. Any more discussion? Hearing none. I'm gonna get a new envelope, mouth tore that nut.
Well, he was trying to wolf
And
me.
even get it in there.
Didn't say we had to reuse it.
Okay, we got to approve the minutes, from the March 18th meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mouse.
No, he did
I know.
February, he did the February 18th meeting.
I told him what?
You told him what he was,
Okay,
okay, March, okay.
You wrote the mark, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Okay. You got anything? Paul, you got anything? Anybody got anything over here?
It's always a lot easier whenever.
I got some copies of some forms here in my handy, guys.
These meetings go a lot better when we bring money than ask for it. But yeah, I'm Doug Wright with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, and Houston is passing out our rural secondary road fund that we get from our rural roads out of our Frankfurt office. And it's a Kentucky state law that the highway department meet with the fiscal court, and I appreciate you taking the time to hear us today, and to go over the little secondary program with you and show you what our recommendations is on what our part of it. I mean, we got, all your roads is pretty well rural secondary, and we've got 94.225 miles in Lawrence County's rural secondary roadways. So, this funding that the rural roads coming from is from the motor fuel tax, and, we're 22.2% of the current tax on all motor fuel sold in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And, so these is divvied out among all the state, all the counties, and, the sheet that you got in there, this sheet number shows your allotment. You might already have that sent to you through rural road, but I'll go over what our recommendations are. First of all, the allotment that Lawrence County is getting is $1,607,419. Okay. Now to maintain the traffic for the 94.225 miles, that's $717,300 of that. And that's to more or less to pave all the roadways that we've got that I'll mention here in a minute that we're proposing to pave. And then the executive expenses were the expense of the fiscal court was $3,875, and your flex funds, which you can use for purposes that you need, whatever, pave your roadways, is $217,067. So our recommendations, or what we've got right now, is to pave, and this is mostly just patching. I don't think any of it, some of them long patching, but most of it's just patching. And we have drove every single mile of our roadways in Lawrence County, and we've got a system where we grade them and come up with and the worst ones usually, worst ones always get recommended. So and they're fairly decent shape, all these got potholes and all those got bad places, but they're fairly decent shape. But anyway, the first route is 3387, which that's just a little portion off 201 right at the Johnson County line that we're paving some over on the Johnson County side, so there's just a little bit of pavement in there. And then the next one is 707 from it consists of the entire route from 3 to 23, which is 9.757 miles, which again, it's not a solid patch, but it will be patched, the worst places. Next one is 1937. That is from Kentucky 707 to the Lawrence-Boyd County line. Next one is 828. That is from mile point 5 to mile point 8.747, which is Route 1. Then the next paving is 1760, which is from US 23 to 32, which is 9.63 miles. We are going to put some on that. We have our last year's money still there. We had that bridge in, we had some brakes on it, so we held that money so that we can get all the brakes finished along that roadway before we paved it. So that money will be coming as well as this. So both of them added together will be, will make a pretty good showing on that road. And then the other one is 2037, which is Chapman Loop, which is from 0 to 3.623. Now, you might have noticed if you're following along, I missed number 8, which we are using some of this money to try to cut back some of our foliage and our tree canopy. So we got some of these roadways that's growing completely over. So we are trying to use some of that money, a portion of it, every year to try to get some of this foliage cut back and the tree canopy out so that the paper payments last longer. So that right now we got 707 set up for that, and but that's what our intentions are to pay this year on the rural secondary. Now, we will take recommendations if you have any, anything that, any recommendations